There's a lot of mainstream habits and opinions when it comes to personal finance, and I tend to veer a bit from people when it comes to opinions on money. So today I'm sharing my unpopular opinions on personal finance. For what it's worth, I totally understand the opposing arguments. But regardless, when a point hits you, then let me know in the comments down below if you agree, if you disagree, and why. But keep it constructive. Let's get into it. Number one unpopular opinion: you don't have to use credit cards to live.
These are too high.
If you live on less than you make, then you'll have enough money to live on just a debit card and cash. I get it, it's not conventional, but it's doable. In fact, my wife and I live without credit cards, so I can prove to you it's possible. We haven't swiped a credit card since May of 2017. Now, credit card rewards are nice for sure, as long as you pay off the balance. Is it not funny that everyone says that? I don't know how many times I've heard people say, yeah, but it's fine if I'm paying off the balance. But they aren't. People simply aren't paying them off every month. According to NerdWallet, as of March of this year, the average American household had over $7,800 in revolving credit card debt. That is wild. People are tricking themselves into using credit cards for the benefits. They're tricking themselves into thinking that they're getting more benefit out of using their plastic than what it's costing them. And it's costing them thousands, because according to Forbes, the average credit card interest rate this week is 24.53%, which means the average American household with an average credit card interest rate is going to pay just short of $2,000 in just interest to credit card companies this year. Trust me, the average American household is not getting an extra $2,000 in value when it comes to their consuming habits. Certainly not in the form of points. The truth is, you don't actually need credit to buy a house. If you go with a company that does manual underwriting, you can still get a competitive loan by them just diving a little deeper into your financial history of income and paying bills. Now consider debit cards. Debit cards have zero liability guarantees, which means if there's fraudulent purchases involved with your debit card, the bank is going to refund your money as they would with a credit card. And lastly, a lot of debit cards actually provide points with their spending, which is why you should subscribe to my channel, because I do a ton of cashback debit card reviews. You can actually see what I carry in my wallet right here. Watch it after this video. Anyways, this brings us to our next unpopular opinion. Number two unpopular opinion: leveraging debt is a dangerous game. Many people say they want to get ahead by leveraging debt. By their argument, you get to use other people's money to do it, and it can be a hedge against inflation with the right kind of debt. So take real estate, for instance. You might have a 3% mortgage amid 8% inflation. That means you're actually coming out ahead with your money, because even paying interest is still retaining 5% of your money's value year over year. And on top of that, you'll likely have appreciation of your asset. But what it doesn't take into consideration is risk. Leveraging debt is a risky business, because payments don't stop if you lose your job. Sure, you can get an emergency fund to help hedge the risk, but if you got like 5 rental properties, that's a lot of mortgages. That's a lot of payments. And there's no guarantees you'll even have paying tenants. On the other hand, with no debt, you're less likely to make crazy decisions, because no debt means no stress when the economy tanks. Okay, less stress. And you won't feel the need to make desperate money moves just to stay afloat. Now, there are other forms of leveraging debt, like with a business or something else, but probably the greatest example of leveraging debt is real estate. Now, it's important to note there's a difference between leveraging debt for building a real estate portfolio and using debt to acquire a primary home with a mortgage, which takes us into our next opinion: mortgages. Obviously, I'd love to see you pay cash for a house. Shoot, if I had enough cash to straight up pay for our house, I would have done it split second. Unfortunately, that's incredibly difficult to do. It's doable, but many times a mortgage is a necessity just to acquire a home. So here's my third unpopular opinion: stick to a 15-year mortgage on your home, then pay it off way before the end of the loan. I get it, home values are way up, and interest rates are up too. You simply can't get as much for your money anymore. But that's no reason to saddle yourself with a ton of debt for a massive amount of time. I mean, listen, I'm 28 years old. If someone took out a 30-year mortgage back in 1994 when I was born, they would still have 2 years left on their loan. 2 years more than my entire life. A 15-year mortgage is going to do a couple things for you. One, you'll be out of debt much sooner. Two, you'll actually have a lower interest rate. According to Bankrate, national mortgage interest rates today are 7.03% for a 30-year loan versus 6.45% for a 15-year loan. Three, you'll pay much less interest because you'll pay it off in half the time. All right, check this out. If you got a $300,000 mortgage on a 15-year loan at today's interest rates, you'd pay a total of $169,000 just in interest. In the life of the loan, that would total $469,000 for a $300,000 house. On the other hand, if you got a $300,000 mortgage on a 30-year loan at today's interest rates, you'd pay a total of $420,000 just in interest. In the life of the loan, that would total $720,000 for a $300,000 house. And you're in debt for twice as long. Now, I can already hear you saying, first of all, Caleb, I already hit the like button, so you're welcome. Now, why wouldn't I just get a 30-year mortgage, plan to pay it off like it's 15, and if I needed that extra cash flow, I could just make the 30-year payments? And my answer would be twofold. One, if you get a 30-year mortgage, you're more likely to get a more expensive house. When we were looking for our house, I was shocked by the amount of house that the mortgage company would have allowed us to purchase on a 30-year loan. I mean, it was way more money than I was comfortable taking out in a loan. So because a 30-year loan payment is smaller, it's much easier to get more house. And the second part of my answer is, it is difficult to put extra money on the house when you have other expenses. I mean, I can justify all kinds of things for the cash that we would use to put towards the principal on this house. I mean, I'm talking home projects, vacations, upgrading cars. Those kinds of things just make it harder to pay a 30-year mortgage like at 15. Listen, mortgages inherently have some risk in them, but mitigate the risk by getting a mortgage with 10 to 20% down, if not more, where your payment is under 25% of your take-home pay on a 15-year fixed rate loan. And then pay off that sucker early as cash is available. Because as Dave Ramsey says,
because 100% of the foreclosures occur on a house with a mortgage. And when you have zero mortgage and you walk in the backyard and the grass feels different under your feet, it's mine by God, you know, kind of thing. It changes the way you operate the rest of your money because you're standing on such a more solid foundation to live your life.
Fourth and final unpopular opinion. People make excuses for their poor money habits and situations. Now, before you get all angry in the comments, hear me out. I do not at all say this as an all-inclusive statement. Not all people make excuses, nor are all people's financial situations their fault. For example, sometimes it is truly the result of very unfortunate events that cause massive, massive medical debt or something else. What I am saying is this: people make so many excuses to justify their choices and poor financial practices, like taking out massive student loans, purchasing new cars, splurging on a large house, or even just eating out every day for lunch. But math does not discriminate. Sometimes it can be easy to justify poor spending because of your upbringing, or because of your family, or because I deserve it, or even because you don't think you can budget. Be brutally honest with yourself on what excuses you're using. I make excuses. Actually, just yesterday I made an excuse. Our thermostat stopped working, so I needed to purchase a new one. I told my wife Bailey that we need to get a smart thermostat so we can control it away from our home. But she was like, do we really need a smart thermostat? Because we can just program another one to whatever our routine is. And I was like, no. So we ended up buying a thermostat that was half the cost. The point is, you have to be honest with yourself about what you're justifying financially. And hey, I'm here to help you turn your financial life around. It's why I offer financial coaching to those who may feel like they need a little extra help. You can check out that link in the description down below. So subscribe if you want to see more content to help you improve your finances. Drop a constructive comment below about what you think, and watch this video next.